Welcome to a new episode.
Welcome back to the Copper Connectors podcast, where we turn sea-level building services engineering revision into something you can actually use on site and in the exam room. As always, I'm your host, Chris Bailey, plumbing tutor and self-confessed industry mentor. In this episode, we're going to do something really powerful for your BSE Core Paper 1 revision. Instead of you revising individual units like health and safety or sustainability, we're going to zoom in and look at the whole exam. How it's put together, what the questions are really asking, how examiners may mark it, and how you can show off what you know. We'll use examples from a sample paper, a mark scheme, and the examiner guide. But we're not trying to memorise those exact questions. Your live paper will be different. The questions will be set prior to you sitting it. What we're going to do today is the shape of your exam and the skills it tests and the marking style. If you understand those, you can walk into any revision of paper 1 feeling far more in control. So if you've ever looked at a past paper and thought, I kind of know the content, but I don't know what they want from me, stick around, grab a notebook, because I'm going to give you practical structures and phrases you can use in your answers.
Bridging the gap with questions from you.
So let's start by mapping out what you're actually sitting. So Core Paper 1 is a 2 hours and 30-minute log paper. That's a lot of time, but the questions can eat it up quickly if you don't know what's coming. The paper is split into 2 sections. We have Section A and Section B. Section A is around 21 questions, worth about 77 marks in total. A mix of short and medium length answers, single mark state questions with 2 to 3 marks, which are list or explain questions, and some 4 to 6 mark questions. Section B is 3 extended response questions, worth around 33 marks in total. These are longer scenario-based questions where you write a mini essay basically and show some analysis and evaluation. That's roughly 110 marks on the paper. A good time plan is an hour and a half for Section A and around 50-55 minutes for Section B. A few minutes spare at the end to breathe, check and finish any half-done answers. Even if you're a quick writer, I'd still ring fence at least 35 to 40 minutes for those final 3 questions. They're worth a big chunk of marks, and a lot of students run out of time just when the high-value questions appear.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please leave us a review.
So let's look at the units Paper 1 covers. The early foundational units of BSE core content, including health and safety in construction, construction science principles, construction design principles, construction and the built environment and industry, construction sustainability principles, building technology principles, tools, equipment and materials. The exam doesn't present them like a textbook. You won't get question 1, health and safety, question 2, sustainability, in order. They're blended. 1 minute you're thinking about regulations and risk assessments, the next you're looking at carbon or construction methods or a ladder calculation. The exam is also deliberately written so it starts easier and ramps up. Early questions are mostly about simple recall. Later ones ask you to apply knowledge and then analyse and evaluate. That's on purpose. It helps you warm up and it lets the exam gradually test deeper skills. So now let's look at the heart of the exam in 3 assessment objectives: AO1, AO2 and AO3. Once you understand what each one of these is trying to test, you can start reading questions differently. So AO1 is knowledge and understanding. AO1 is split into 2 levels, AO1A and AO1B. AO1A demonstrates knowledge. This is pure recall. Questions might say, state 1 statutory document that relates to the use of power tools on a construction site. List 2 environmental technologies, systems that generate electricity, or state 2 methods of tendering for a project. You're not being asked to explain or justify, just to name the right things. These questions are usually 1 to 3 marks. They appear early in Section A and are designed to reward you for having the basics unlocked. Key laws, key technologies, key professional bodies, and key definitions. So how to revise for AO1A? Make flashcards with a term on one side and a short definition for an example on the other. Group them by units of health and safety regs, sustainability technologies, construction methods, professional bodies, tools and materials. Practice quick recall. Can you get the term or example in under 5 to 10 seconds? How to answer AO1A on the day. Keep it short and precise. If it only states 1, literally state 1. If it says list 3, write 3 separate lines. Don't bury them in a paragraph. Put your best examples first. Examiners generally mark the first ones you give. AO1B, demonstrating understanding. AO1B is about showing you understand the idea, not just a label. So command words include explain and describe with short mark allocations, typically 2 to 4 marks. So an example could be explain the difference between an incident and an accident. Explain what is meant by modular construction, giving one benefit of this type of construction. Here, the examiner wants to see that you can demonstrate each term in your own words. You can show a simple cause and effect or a practical impact. A good pattern to use is point to explain. An incident is put your point, which means that, and then your explain. An accident is, then your point, which results in you explain the result. For 4-mark questions, asking for 2 explanations, repeat that pattern twice. Okay, so then we'll go into AO2 is where you take what you know and apply it to a situation. You're not just repeating facts, you're using them to solve a problem or respond to a scenario. You'll see 2 main flavours. So AO2 mass calculation questions, they often involve, say, safe ladder ratios, mechanical forces and levers, percentages, penalties, cost changes, areas, flow rates, or volumes. The idea is that you pick the correct formula or relationship. Plug in the numbers, show your workings, give the final answer with the units. It is super important. If your final number is wrong, you can still gain several marks using the right method and setting the problem up properly. Examiners are told to mark positively and award marks for correct steps, not just the final result. Your structure should always be write the formula. For example, moment equals force times distance. Substitute the values with units. Do the calculation step by step and finish with a clear statement. Therefore, the minimum length is 9.6 metres. And then we have AO2 non-math scenario questions. These are questions like explain how the continued safety of power tools is monitored within a building services organisation. Explain the installation methods used when installing an underfloor heating system on a joisted floor and how they improve the system's performance. You're being given context. Power tools in an organisation, underfloor heating on a joisted floor, and asked to apply your knowledge and understanding to that scenario. Your structure here is identify the key process or principles, apply it to the situation, and explain the impact or benefit. For example, the power tool safety, you might talk about asset registers, planned inspections and testing, so you'll pat test every 3 months, recording results and keeping a schedule, and adjusting frequency based on the environment and risk. Each of those, with a short explanation, is a mark. And then we move into AO3, analyse and evaluate. AO3 appears mainly in Section B, the big extended response questions. These are where you show you can analyse, break a scenario down, look at the relationships, explore advantages and disadvantages, and evaluate, make a judgment, weigh up options, and justify your choices. The marking is done in bands. So you'll have band 1, that's basic, a few relevant points, little application to the scenario. Then we've got Band 2, which is good. More points, some application, but not always clear or developed. Band 3, thorough, detailed, mostly applied, logical structure. And then Band 4, which is comprehensive, well developed, fully applied to the scenario with a clear, justified conclusion. The difference between Band 2 and Band 4 isn't fancy vocabulary, it's how well you use the details given in the question. Building type, location, constraints, cover both sides, benefits and limitations of what the question's asking, and end with a clear recommendation that matches what the question asks.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
So how do examiners think? Let's peek behind the curtain at the marking process. Knowing how your markers are instructed to work can change your approach in the paper. So we have positive marking and partial credit. Markers are told to use positive marks, give marks for correct points rather than deducted for wrong ones. Ignore extra neutral wrong information as long as it doesn't directly contradict your current point. Use the full range of marks, including 0 and full marks, especially on levelled questions. So what does this mean for you? If you're not sure, but you have a reasonable idea, write it down. A half-remembered point still could be enough for a mark. Avoid contradicting yourself. Don't write X is safe in one sentence and then X is dangerous in the next. If you're unsure, keep it simple and accurate rather than guessing wildly. Spelling, handwriting and presentation. The exam guide is very reassuring. Spelling, punctuation, grammar are not assessed in the core exam. Phonetic spellings of technical terms is fine as long as it's clear what you meant. Handwriting just needs to be legible. Block capitals are okay if that helps. So your focus should be a clear structure. Separate each point with a new line or sentence. Keywords, use the technical term if you can, even if you're unsure of the spelling. Don't panic about perfect English. Focus on clarity of ideas. Command words and marks count. When you read a question, look for two things immediately. So the first thing you're going to be looking for is the command word. State, list, describe, explain, analyse or evaluate. Then the mark value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12 marks. As a rough rule, 1 mark, 1 clear idea. 2 to 3 marks, 1 idea with an explanation or 2 distinct points. 4 to 6 marks, 2 ideas with explanations or a fuller process. And 9 to 12 marks, several ideas organised into an argument. Use the mark as your guide. If it's worth 4 marks, you shouldn't be writing just 1 sentence. Okay, so let's go through exactly how to tackle each type of question you're likely to see. So we have state or list. Remember the question and underline the number of items required. Answer in bullet point form, so provision of use of work. Answer in bullet form, so if we're looking at regulations, the provision of use of work equipment regulations, pure. Next line, electrical at work regulations. 1 item per line, no waffling. Put your strongest answers first and only the first few are usually marked. Then we have our short explain, describe, AO1 and AO2. Use PE or PEE. Point your main idea. Explain what it means or why it matters. An example, a short practical example. For 4 marks, explain 2 questions. Write 2 PEE chunks. Label, if helpful, first and second. For an example, an incident is an event that could have caused harm but didn't. This means there was potential for injury, but by luck or quick action, no one was actually hurt. An accident is where harm has occurred. Someone has been injured or damaged has been done. So there we have 2 clear definitions with a bit of explanation. That's exactly what examiners want. Maths AO2 questions, your step-by-step routine. Underline the question if it's asking distance, length, penalty, force, etc. Write down the given data clearly. Identify the formula or the relationship. Substitute in the numbers with units. Calculating stages, don't jump straight to your final answer. Circle or box the final result. with units. Even if you're nervous about maths, remember you can pick up several marks for showing the right approach, even with a small error. Use your calculator, but don't let it hide your workings.
Follow us where you get your podcasts from.
Okay, section B, extended response questions. Here's a simple 4-paragraph structure you can memorise. So first we have introduction. Restate the scenario in your own words and say what you'll focus on. Show the advantages or positive analysis, 2 to 3 solid points, each linked to the scenario. The limitations and risks, again, 1 to 3 realistic drawbacks, again linked to the scenario. And your judgment or recommendation. Express a clear conclusion and justify it. If the question is evaluate different construction methods and suggest the most suitable for the project, your conclusion must pick one method and explain why it fits the project's details, like limited time on site, good access, or rural location. Inside the body paragraphs use because, this means, and as a result of. These linked phrases usually push up into analysis and evaluation instead of just descriptions. Now let's understand the structure and the marking. Let's talk about how to use this over the next few weeks. So week 1, AO1 foundations, make or update flashcards for all paper 1 units, laws, standards, definitions, professional bodies, key technologies. Spend 10 to 15 minutes a day testing yourself. Try a few past AO1 questions and mark yourself just on whether you named the correct items. Then week 2, AO2 practice. Pick out maths types. AO2 questions, ladders, loads, percentages. Do 1 a day, focusing on showing your workings and units. Pick out scenario AO2 questions and practice the BEE structure. Week 3, AO3 extended responses. Choose 1 extended question every couple of days. Use the 4-paragraph structure, intro, positives, negatives, conclusion. Time yourself. Aim to get a solid 9 to 12 marks done in around 15 to 18 minutes. And then week 4, the full paper technique. Try section A under time conditions around 90 minutes. On a separate day, do a mini section B drill. 3 extended answers back to back. Afterwards, compare a couple of your answers to simple mark schemes or examiner commentaries if you have them. And ask, did I use the scenario enough? Did I justify my conclusions? And did I show my working? Okay, so that's our deep dive into the BSE Core Paper 1. Not just what content it covers about, but how it's structured, what AO1, 2 and 3 really mean, how examiners think, and how you can shape your answers to win marks instead of leaving them behind. Your next action is simple. Take 1 sample paper, pick 1 AO1 question, 1 AO2 question, and 1 extended AO3 question, and answer them using the techniques we've walked through. Then check your answers against the mark scheme and ask yourself, where would this sit in the bands? If this episode helped you see the exam more clearly, make sure you follow the Copper Connection podcast. Share it with your classmates or apprentice group and let me know what paper 1 units you want carved up into exam-style chunks, health and safety, sustainability, or building technologies. You're not just cramming facts, you're learning how to speak the examiner's language. And that's what turns your knowledge into grade. I've been Chris Bailey, you've been listening to the Copper Connection podcast, and we'll see you next week where we look at the BSE Core Paper 2. Keep revising and I will catch you on the next episode.
We'll be back next week. In the meantime, please subscribe and thanks for listening.